about?
Yes, let's do it. Catalyst Circle walking session, September 22nd at 15:55 UTC. No, yeah, CC, 50:55 UTC. In the last 15 minutes, we spoke about the agenda and we came up with one. And first point is Reese will go to present the work what he did on the Catalyst Circle GitHub.
Perfect. Let me share my screen. All right, guys, can you see this all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe I need to zoom in here a little bit.
Yes.
So basically, we talked before about having a way for people to report the works they're doing as a member of a Catalyst Circle and a single point of reporting for the community, as well as reporting to IOG to enable funding for the Catalyst Circle so that future iterations don't need to basically put proposals in to try and get funding for the work that they do. So as part of that, or to try and cover all bases and kind of consolidate everything that's very disparate at the minute, Quasar and myself set up this repository. So this is actually a GitHub organization. We've got a couple of friends in here at the minute. And at the minute, I've just got things for Catalyst Circle. We've set up a repository for the challenge teams as well. And maybe eventually we'll have one for proposals to report too. But right now, this is the main one that we've got going. So we have it in GitHub, but we've also set up a Git book, which is just a nice interface for it, really. That's a bit more user-friendly rather than navigating repos or having to learn the terminology of GitHub, because it can be a little daunting. But it's essentially the same information, just a different UI. Mm-hmm. So in here, we've got meetings. So you'll find all the meetings and recordings. We've got the reports for people to put in their reporting for the work they've been doing on any given week. Within meetings, that's just taken us to the GitHub. Wonderful. What have we got? Reporting here. So in the actual circle reporting, we've got the basic kind of explanation of why we need the reporting and what kind of things going on the document that we've previously been working on, what kind of things people might be doing, how it's recorded, frequency, outcome, and evidence, and things that should be in the report. And then we also put a template together for the reporting, which is basically a very, very simple way to display your work. And we tried to keep it as brief as possible and as simple for anyone to just come in and fill in any of that information. But this template, you can just duplicate the file or like copy and paste into a new file and basically show the work that you've been doing for the community and for Catalyst. Then that's nice and simple, hopefully. We've got name, week ending, approximate working hours, target actions, like what your goals were, links to works as evidence based on the template, the table that I just showed you, works completed, just a brief description of the work you've been doing to take those links and just put them into context for people. And then just a simple rating, like how well you think your work went. That's it. Hopefully that'll be plenty of evidence for work that a lot of people are doing in the community, and whilst keeping it as open-ended as possible for circle reps to be able to actually have freedom to do work that they are good at and works in a way that really suits them and their time frame, because this is obviously not a full-time job for anyone. Then another one, I've kind of copied the meeting template. So we've got a duplicate of this with a link to watch the recording. This can actually have a video embedded, but in here, I don't have it because you can't embed YouTube videos directly into GitHub, but you can put them on here. So right now, that's just a link to meeting 13, because when I was doing this, we didn't have the 14 meeting up. But I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Us as a Catalyst Circle have seen this stuff before, just a record of attendance, consent agenda. And what I've done is I've basically created a template, because Markdown can be a little complicated to use. So I've just created a template of nested lists here. So any user who is putting this report in, whether it's the CC admin or someone else, can easily, if they're not familiar with Markdown, just copy these and then edit as necessary. We've also got the format for all of these. So we got bold, italic, et cetera, et cetera. And that's it. The advantage of having it like this is that it's not living on someone's Google Drive somewhere. It's out in front, anyone in the community. Obviously, this isn't a very pretty URL at the minute, but we can actually have a much nicer URL to have as a point. So we can share a single link and anyone can come here and go, oh, look, we've got everything about Catalyst Circle here. And this one is going to be the challenge teams. We can add new spaces, which are basically individual repos within this organization. So if we have another one here for proposal reporting, then we can just have another space which literally pulls that repo directly into Gitbook. It's all formatted for you. And it's super easy for anyone to use, just like navigating a website. All right. That's about it.
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
One is I would like this official link to the page on the right, and the other is on the rating section. Rating your own work.
Oh, in your reporting here, you mean?
Yeah, and that work rating. Is there a place, like to explain why like if it sucked, whatever you did, like you gave it a poor rating, whatever your efforts were.
Yeah,
so
I mean, this is just a space for text.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's a place there for them to make a comment about like why they rated it a 2, or why they rated it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's open-ended, right? I've just put this as like a bit of a placeholder. Maybe I'd say, 5 out of 10. I was trying to get this stuff done, but realistically, I couldn't. I didn't end up having time to get on this meeting, or this other person became unavailable, or I was busy doing, the shopping for whatever week. So I understand where you're coming from. I want to leave this as open-ended as possible, but it's also a very simple way of you saying, yes, I smashed it this week, or, I tried, but it wasn't as productive as I hoped, or it was a complete disaster, because we all have those weeks as well, right?
Right. Well, I really appreciate that, Reese. I think it addresses a lot of the concerns yesterday. The fact that you set it up like a regular website so that it's easy for people who don't really understand GitHub. So that's cool.
Yeah, wicked.
Thank you.
Felix?
Also a question. From own experience, by working with Gitbook through a bunch of projects, it takes really a lot of work to maintain properly GitHub and Gitbook. And this is really not a job where you can say, oh, yeah, this is just a little bit from time to time. If you want to have it seriously, then you really need serious time commitment and really people who know well about this stuff. How do you envision the maintenance and updates, developments, and everything?
Yeah. So any meeting can, like from the Google Doc that we're working for right now, can literally be copy and pasted straight into a file, either on Gitbook itself, if you're more comfortable with that, just as a markdown file, or you can create a new page and copy stuff in that way in the Gitbook. So you can use either of these interfaces to add to it, and it's simply just a copy and paste of the work. The thing that would take more time is the reporting, obviously, and potentially another thing that would be an issue is getting this video in. Now, that relies on the video being published at a reasonable time. But if the incentive is to get this done for the Catalyst Circle so that they can be paid, then, it kind of gives people a stick up the bum to get that video up there, and I think the community will be on top of it enough to kind of keep track of that too, because a lot of people are already looking for that from us, right?
Just if you have several people working on GitHub and Gitbook, it's not a for-free solution. So for example, the contributors on GitHub, Gitbook, after a certain amount of contributors which are able to edit the sites or add content and things and stuff, you have to pay them. It's a paid account then. And it's a minimum, I think, of 50 for 5 participants, and it's something like $50 per month.
Right.
What,
So
Gitbook?
I'm sorry, CCv4 could contribute from each person to a Sept circle person to help maintain this.
Yeah. I don't know, actually, it's a good point about the teams, right? Because like this is just a GitHub organization. We can have any amount of people just join. This might be different,
Exactly.
you know, so
For Swarm, we pay $130 each month because we have a bunch of contributors and a bunch of subgroups and everything. It's quite a serious thing if you want to go with a Gitbook really professional. Dudes, this takes a lot of time, a lot of
Yeah.
people, and a lot of resources. Yes, definitely. Check
Well-
in with Q&A though as well. They are masters in Gitbook.
yeah, that would actually be good to know. Prices that I've seen for this are like $6 or I think $30 a month. So I mean, it might just be based on the amount of people you have, or maybe you have like
Exactly.
the enterprise version of it. But we don't need to have people as members longer than they're in the Catalyst circle, you know. So hopefully we can have a rotation, which would mean there isn't a high cost for this kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, everything essentially will cost some money at some point when it's, so maybe we would need to figure that out. And if we're not using other group services, or if the admin, or if it comes out of the main budget for the Catalyst circle, we will have to address that, obviously. I'm not going to go around searching for the pricing and stuff now, but we can have that discussion because obviously it is very important.
Joey, is your hand
Joey?
still up or again? Again.
Okay.
So
So
then, Reese, what do you need for next steps to move forward?
what I need is I need to just get as much of the documentation that we've worked on, the history of our meetings and stuff like that, so that I can populate this ahead of the next iteration coming in, so that we can have like a history of all of our work and our meetings. I can get the meeting recordings, that's super easy. I can hunt down some of the other documentation and stuff. But if someone has access to this kind of stuff, maybe Nori or JP would be the better one to ask. I know they're not around today, and for good reasons. So I can get that done over the next week or so, and I'm happy to do that as well. But any other, like, one thing that would be really good is to have the code of conduct and things like that, things that we have been working on that I can put here, so we can have that in front of the community. And that's really it, I guess. Maybe for some of you guys, if you want to join this organization, the Catalyst, the GitHub, or and either start doing some reporting for our works that, you know, that we have been doing, or do so in the Gitbook, whichever you're more comfortable with or want to dig your teeth into, just give me a shout and we can sort that out through Slack or anywhere else.
Do you have a link to the GitHub and Gitbook?
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
I'll pop that in there. That's the GitHub.
Nice.
And then I think I'm in edit mode here. So I'm just going to go publish, public, confirm. And then there's the Gitbook.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot also for all the time you spent in there already.
Oh, that's okay. It wasn't just me. Steve and Quasar, we all spent a lot of time on a call figuring this out. And so, we're not figuring it out, just kind of doing the work, really. And obviously you've been working in the background doing your own things, which are in here as well. I've got that document as part of the nominee information form. So it's not just me, you know, it's everyone has been a part of this already. And I've just stuck it on a page, basically.
Awesome. Thanks anyway.
No, it's all right.
Pipes and bars.
Pipes and flags.
So to what you need, I marked to get as many Catalyst Circle content as possible. So code of conduct, CC4 for version 4 intro, nomination, election things and stuff. And then you said as well to figure out how to have it automated via Markdown, maybe on GitHub, that you have the video links directly embedded on Gitbook, right?
Yeah. To get, you can put the links in the Markdown on GitHub, but they won't show. You can actually, in Gitbook, you can actually just put videos in from YouTube. So it'll actually have them on page. So that would be the better way of displaying it. But you would still need to, that link would then show up in the GitHub, but it won't show as the video. So that would be something that would just click you to YouTube and would be viewable, sorry, in the Gitbook.
I would recommend Stephen and Vanessa. They have definitely a lot of experience in GitHub.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once we started, and I'm sure they know how to set it up.
And also, just for the record, I do have a lot of the documentation up in various browser windows, like the code of conduct and stuff like that. But because a lot of it, we're waiting on edits, or we haven't agreed necessarily on some stuff, then I'm not comfortable putting it in if it's like as is right now. I just wanted to touch base with you guys to make sure that this is the most up-to-date iteration, so that I can stick it in. And obviously we can edit it and update it as we go, but I didn't just want to go too crazy and copy and paste stuff that we're waiting or is has already been updated, and I just don't have the latest version.
So would this be then a general thing of what you need as well? More clarity on which content is ready to be uploaded then?
Yep.
Okay. Nice. Is the questions there, or can we go to the next topic then?
Next.
Okay, let me share my screen as well. The next one, what is this one? Ah, CC. Present the Catalyst Circle version 4 introduction. This is draft. This one I sent over some days ago to Reese already. Was mostly JP who worked on this. So we had a review and added some stuff in a call which we had on Saturday, September 17th as well. It only just takes the main conclusion of whatever content is all around the place, because right now it's a little bit, CC version 3 generated a bunch of content actually, but it's just so fucking around all over the place that nobody actually knows what the content is. So JP really took the approach, said, okay, he will not really create own content, but rather really gathering together what is out there and try to mesh it all together into one easy document. So it's an introduction document then, which aims to introduce the Catalyst Circle version 4. Most of the stuff you know already, everything you know already, it's from one or other documents just matched together. And also introduce directly then the introduction for the nomination. So first off, thank you for your interest in participating in the Catalyst Circle. As we enter our 4th iteration, we continue to persuade of bringing true value to the Cardano community by working together, sharing various community perspectives, and identifying necessary practices and procedures for governance. Second, whether you are new to Cardano, a long-time participant, or somewhere in between, we encourage you to get informed on what has happened to date. For further details on the origins of the Catalyst Circle, you can check out this blog from IHK here. This is the introducing the Catalyst Circle from Catalyst Circle version 1. You may also wish to deep dive into recent Circle meetings from versions 1 to 3, which you can find here. And there we have the Catalyst Circle GitHub documentation from QA cover and community governance oversight. Ah, no, this is, shit. Okay, no, this is wrong link. This should normally be the GitHub presentation. This is the website, which was started somewhere, but never finished. Third, The role of Catalyst Circle is always changing, from being a human sensor array to exploring innovative ways for community governments to becoming a decision-making body. The Catalyst Circle's ultimate success depends on those who are involved. Interested individuals should have strong support within the Cardano community and have a solid understanding of its foundations and objectives. While engaging at Catalyst Circle version 4, the elected representatives will serve during a 6-month time period at their elected seat. During this time, the representatives will explore and establish communications and coordinations to their represented groups, as well to other representatives and their groups. Then the circle exists to fulfill following goals. What we know already: facilitate communication, coordination, and collaboration between various Cardano communities that are represented, and to extend possible those communities that are not represented. Interact and coordinate different subcircles so that the circle is responsive to the whole community and can build the strength of different communities. Communicate if and when there is a violation of the community code of conduct, suggest improvement and plans on processes that shape Project Catalyst, and define the election process for any following circle and subcircle representatives and or participants. Each member of the guild should, then we come to the responsibilities from the Catalyst Circle version 3 criteria which have been adjusted, be well connected across one or more communities within the Cardano or Catalyst space, represent the interests of the communities you come from, and be able to provide your community's perspective rather than a personal opinion. Exercise logic and reasons when rendering judgments about matters that comes before the circle. Familiarize other members with the project, activities, aims, hopes, and concerns of your communities. As appropriate, introduce proposals into the circle's agenda that directly respond to or provide a solution for one of the circle's commonly identified problems. Inform your communities about initiatives of the circle by supporting large and small community events such as Twitter Spaces, Hangouts, etc. In addition, the following criteria outline the minimum criteria that must be met by interested individuals in order to be eligible for the Catalyst Circle representative. Regularly attend to our Catalyst Circle meetings every 2 weeks, and to extent possible, participate in the bi-weekly working group meetings to address specific issues. Work with your community, sub-circle, and or other circle reps to maintain an agile backlog. List to track issues between meetings. For example, where the GitHub really is an important part of, for example. Provide input and comment on circular agendas and issues ahead of time. Maintain awareness of the interests and concerns of your communities. Disseminate the circle outputs transparently and accessibility. Learn and practice effective meeting procedures, and provide feedback on the effectiveness of the circle. At the same time, there are specific activities that the Catalyst Circle representatives must not do, particularly as they risk or threaten the success of the circle, any of its representative, or the community they represent. To better understand the behaviors which are deemed both appropriate and inappropriate, the community through CC version 3 has begun developing a code of conduct for circle representatives. While this document is still underdeveloped and likely will be finalized under the tenure of CC version 4, it is important that all circle representatives understand and conform to this code. You can find the most recent version of the code of conduct here. And there, simply copy-paste the stuff from Reese, what you have put on document already, where we had a bunch of comments as well, but just summarize how it is so far, because really giving the emphasis on, okay, we are not maybe able to finalize it fully. We handle over what we have, and really call for Circle version 4 to finalize this and improve it and further. And yeah, that's it. Interested to join? And then here would come the nomination form, then for example, where people could apply to their nominations. Questions so far? Steve, you have your hands up.
Yeah, I was under the impression there was going to be a minimum time in the Catalyst community required.
This
It
is
is not stated.
This is then more to the nomination direct criteria, I think, because here it really should, it just means what is expected in regard to this.
Right. So, I mean, but it is nominee. information form for prospective circle reps. So, I mean, to me, that implies those types of criteria would be included in this document.
Mhm.
I did it for you, Dad.
Danny,
don't-
Jason? Or Steve, you wanted to add another point?
No, I'm good. Can you drop a link to this document, Felix?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Where is it? No, not that. See, let's get it like this. Is it this one?
I think perhaps as commenter would be okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to edit.
Not because that's not. Shit. That's this one. Because this is the document from from JP. So I don't have ownership there. So we can add it here. Chip. And then taking this one. This one I can change. Yep.
Thanks.
Kaiser, you have your answer?
Yeah, I do. Thank you. My goal, and I hope our goal is to in this meeting with a statement or a document.
It's
To
really
announce
difficult
the-
to understand you.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay, you can hear me.
Yep, better, much better.
Can you hear me?
Yep, much better. Go for it.
Wonderful. It's my goal, and I think it's our goal, to come out of this meeting with an announcement that we're open for nominees and the circle is moving forward. Is that how we all understand?
Well, this text tries to directly do this because this is the text who will introduce the
Correct.
whole thing.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Okay, but all right. This is, I mean, you know, like we've named the roles, right? You know, if that's the criteria document, we've named the roles. We've given them this huge list of tasks. You know, this is all GPS stuff. And we directly said that we were not going to be doing that yesterday in the breakout room. So I'm wondering why this is our criteria for.
No, this here is actually nothing related to GPS. It does not include the preset categories. It never includes the governance model what they included with their roles and champions and things and stuff.
You know, and mean, like maybe I'm in an alternate universe, but I'm reading people and culture, structure and processes, network and ecosystem, products and services, growth and impact.
On which
You know,
document?
and
Are we on the same document?
this CCv4 nomination criteria, right, that you're linking to in this document you were reading from.
But from this one, we said already in the last call that we mainly, this is the goal why I present you this document here, right? In the previous call, we said, oh, okay, this where are they? The nomination criteria, like they stand here, they needed to be readjusted, and we need to wrap it in a document. And to say, oh, okay, it's not anymore the 5 pre-linked roles. So they are open seats, but the responsibilities, for example, this we have, right?
Okay, so but then this is not this WIP CCv4 nomination criteria form, right? I mean, that's you're linking to this from the document you were reading from. So this is not the document we want to link to.
No, exactly. This document I only linked after your suggestion to include more nomination criteria.
The criteria, right?
And the nomination criteria, they are gathered on the here.
That's another document.
Exactly. So here we have the content, but and already this is already a mix between a bunch of stuff.
Right. Right. I'm just saying, in that document, you don't want to link to this one, what's on the screen right now.
Exactly.
Right. But you are.
Right now, just as a reference to add more, because this process, this document here is still draft. It's not finalized.
Okay.
So we'll add, like you suggested, more nomination criteria from this document, but this link will not be embedded in the official announcement later. Then.
Okay. Joey's question. I think that's what we're talking about, right, Joey? I mean, Felix, Joey's question in the chat.
Exactly. Do we have the candidate nomination form ready to go? No, not yet, because first you have to introduce them. When you say, hey, apply for Catalyst Circle, here's the Google form, then they will ask, okay, can I know a little bit more what it is about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here right now it's okay, mapping the steps out. So here we have the first introduction.
Okay.
And then we have the, wait, where was it? Stop screen sharing for 1 second.
When we do the introduction, can't we just give them a link to the form right at the same time?
Yes.
And if it's going to be on Google, then someone needs an account that they can hold that form in.
Yes.
Right. Well, that's at the bottom of this page. That's
exactly.
You know, submit your nomination.
Interested to join a circle? Submit your nomination, insert link, and engage your community support you at the Catalyst Circle election. An idea would then, here would be the link for the Google form then for the nominees.
Right, and it's not just for people who are volunteering themselves, but it's also for people who may want to nominate other people as a candidate, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. With a kind reminder to say, if you nominate somebody, please let them know, because this is something what we saw in an issue in Circle version 3, 2, and 1 already, that if people get nominated and they don't even know about it, because somebody else put them forward and they're like, hey, what the fuck? But not so nice. And Kaiser sent up again or still?
No, additionally. Where's the Google form supposed to go? Who's collecting that?
I would assume best address might be CC admin team still, as they have the experience already. And they have the structure. Everything what was generated since they are in action is also stored and stacked on their G drive. So
yeah, that the previous form.
I don't think that's the way to do it. I think we should go through providing forums and places for these to be submitted in an open manner, kind of like Discord, and through the Catalyst Circle. The Google form adds a layer of suspicion that I think we need to avoid.
Yeah, I think the most important part is that data is handled by people we can trust. And I don't know why you see the CC admin team like an evil entity. I'm mind to remind you that these are community members who stepped up voluntarily to a public announcement and request from the circle to support me. And they did it for half a year voluntarily before receiving first funds for their support. So
yeah,
I
can address that.
I don't.
I do not see them at all as a public enemy. That's not the case whatsoever. I love the work that they're doing. I think it's great.
You know, as far as there are people who set it up,
Pardon me?
and where we, as far as there are people who set it up, who take the initiative, and people where we know, okay, cool, they take care of the data and they will not play funny things around. It doesn't matter so much how they are named. It's just if we have people, that's great, right?
Okay. I think the problem
No.
here, Felix, is that
No.
I don't think that Quasar is trying to demonize them. I think the point is that we want to get to where the circle is funding itself and it's not dependent on the Catalyst funding process, right? Because what happens is people get burned out, right? They get tired of whatever they get tired of because, you know, inconsistent funding and thankless work. And so they drop out. And what we want to do is get it to where the circle is independent of those dynamics, you know, which is why we've spent weeks talking about, you know, what does it take to satisfy input output, that accountability and deliverables are met. But this is one of those deliverables that the circle needs to meet itself outside of community members doing things in a hope of getting rewarded through funding, because that's a no-win scenario over the long term. And I think that that's all Quasar is trying to get to.
We should be able to set up a Google account for the circle itself and build our forms there and collect them there.
Yeah, find somebody. I mean,
we technically have a circle account through the Gmail. It goes to a circle admin. I don't know where any of the documents are of those forms, though. There's nothing in the Google Drive regarding previous selections or forms, at least not in the account that I have with the general data holder. So and you know, up until this election, because of the tech and the development and the growth, we haven't had the opportunity to do an election outside of Google Forms and Zoom. So that's I think it'd be a huge victory for the community to see this election not be dependent upon Google Forms, in a capacity that there's still information being siloed. I think we can find a solution. If not, then let's find the one that works for Google Forms. But to address what you said, Felix, I'm not demonizing anyone. And when you interrupt me, you're disrespecting me in the circle in the community. So let's.
I disrespect you, but not the circle nor the community. Only you, Kaiser, as individual.
Well, then let me tell you about that.
Yeah, that's not going to work in community governance, Felix. I mean,
yeah, thank you.
Maybe you're joking, but I just
he's not
like
joking
wasting time. It's wasting time.
And it's diverting information and action to happen, which might be something someone considered you've been doing for quite a while. But when you accuse me of demonizing and attacking and vilifying people, you're creating a false narrative, when one that you think you can control, and you're breaking the community's understanding apart and their faith in me, which I don't appreciate. Also in you and in Catalyst, you're putting Catalyst in harm and in jeopardy. So I'm going to ask you to very kindly not put words into my mouth and not manipulate stories to suit your purpose, to protect yourself.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thanks a lot.
All right, so can we get back on track? We've heard from both sides of that topic.
Yep. So there needs to be then a conversation about who hosts the Google form. But I was the assumption when we spoke about the Google form, it was for the nomination and not for the election. The election happens on trip drops. And we speak about the Google form nominations here, not about the election.
Yes, the nomination
Right.
forms can come in through using a Google Sheet that can be dropped into the Discord, into many areas, be included into this document that you have here, and also into the GitHub. My concern is people submitting statements via Google Forms will run into the same thing that we ran into last election, where myself and 2 others identified an issue with the process, and those forms were hidden, and there was not transparency provided to the community. And I'd like to remove that from happening.
One idea was to put it on the Cardano forum, I think, the nominations.
Yes, indeed, we can put it everywhere. It's going to be across all social media and everything. The main point or part to make sure that we have the processes down is receiving these nominee statements, confirming with the nomination and the person who does the who's nominated and who did the nominating, and this being kept somewhere that's open and transparent.
I can create a Google account for the circle. So we can create the forms there and keep them there and give everybody access to it.
Then we have the next points, which are then the checklist. Where is it? This one. So Nadine calculates everything in D is the day where we have the vote. Everything after plus means plus 10 days in this regard, or minus 5 days, 10, whatnot. So that we just have to define at the end, okay, when, on which date do we want to have the election happening, and can build a whole schedule then around it. Starting with the development and the introduction document about the catalyst circle for election. Next step would be to set up the nomination form. Next step would be to publish the introduction document. Next step would be to announce the Catalyst Circle Governance Day to the community and distribute the nomination form. Also here, Governance Day in the past has been the event where the election also was held, and this is not anymore the case as the voting runs through Triptop's team and platform there. Then organizing the Governance Day, secure confirmation from CC version for nominees, which is a pretty important step as well. So there will be the need for some time engagement and investment to check with all the nominations as well then, already to check if they fit to the criteria which are provided, and to see if they have been informed, if they are ready to run to be nominated. Because in case they got elected, yeah, they should be prepared for it. And this takes some time to reach out to them as well. Then to set up an updated voting instruction document for Triptops, where we know exactly, this one is it's done already. This was the checklist which I just previously added to the documents from today. This one here. Then the announcement of the confirmed nominations across town halls, platforms. Maybe we should end blogs platforms, social medias, whatnot. Then we have the governance day. Yes, wait, I started wrong in the beginning. You start around the governance day, not the election. The election is then 10 days after the governance day. Main idea of the governance day is to have a public event or a series of public events or whatnot. It needs still to be a little bit defined, where nominations are presented to the community. People maybe are able to engage to speak to the nominees and whatnot. Just a tentative schedule for the meeting itself. Then 10 days after, we have the actual vote coming up for 1 week. As we, I think it was 1 week decided, but we have more than just 1 or 2 days and whatnot. Then presenting the winning candidates, announce the newly elected CCv3 members during the next town halls, and organize a handover meeting between you guys and the next Catalyst Circle version for elected members then. It's a pretty high level schedule of stuff which needs to be done before, during, and after. And also it's draft, but to be defined. Main goal is to have it ready for next week, but already need your feedback here. And then, yeah.
It all looks good to me, Felix. I mean, I don't, where are we in the pre-election phase? We've got to wrap up these documents to make them clean, right?
Exactly.
You know, I think that you've got the introduction documents fine, the nomination form is done. I think CF and input output, when they sign off on it, then we are free to push it ourselves, right?
Mhm.
May I ask where is this form election process right now?
This one is now, this is Nadine's. Let's say, can I change this now? And it's all over the place. It started by the people who started to set it up. The introduction is on JP's folder, the document there is on Nadim's folder, and our job is to bring it all together. Like I said, these are the drafts.
So are you sharing a link to that?
No, because it's editor open and I can't change it.
Okay, thank you.
What you can do is simply to say, we do the same like before. And we take this one.
So Felix, that looked to me like a pretty straightforward timeline. The major stopping point for us right now is sign off from IOG / the CF, so that we can actually make an announcement of when governance day will be, like the actual date, and we can actually start pushing it, right? So that's D -15, it's the second one. Right. Before that, we need the step before, publish the introduction document. So we need it finalized by the men upstairs. Publish the introduction document. Because we've got them together, right? That's a very high level introduction for what's expected of people who are going to put themselves forward. And we've got a nomination form link there, which I imagine is basically the same as the one that we did for V3, right? Email, first name, last name, your idea scale handle, Twitter handle, and then a statement. Isn't there a statement as well?
Should be.
Yeah, I mean, it might be when after you oh no, it's just submit. Then a statement, a place for a statement is the only thing that needs to be added to that. So basically, there's not a lot that needs to be adjusted on our end. We need just a go ahead.
Where will that form go? Is there a location that form goes to? When it's completed?
This was the part from the topic from the last little nasty conversation. We don't know yet who is hosting the form.
Oh.
But it would go to whoever's account is hosting that form, right? That's how it'll work. So
yep.
We identify who that is. We've got that information. You know, we can even duplicate it and stick it somewhere else. Like just have someone else make a Google form and then use that as the form fields just straight out of that template. So that isn't really the issue right now. What we need is sign off from whoever we need sign off for, like the go ahead. We need confirmation of either yes, the new guys are going to get funded, or no, they're not. And then we can make an announcement. Yeah, we've actually got all these things in place. We just need to pull the trigger on it.
Yep. Pretty much that, yes.
Well, for me, I think we should just move forward with the assumption it's going to be funded, and just
I agree.
Keep moving. And if IOG, I mean, I can't believe that discussion hasn't already taken place, and the decision may have already been made. So let's just go forward with the assumption it's done. It's a done deal.
Well, that was actually my point, Joey, right? We can only assume that it's going to go ahead because it would be so unreasonable for it not to, that it would actually be maddening. And we can't get confirmation right now either way, right? So all we can do is we have a deadline. We kind of have to push it forward. So it's not like we just need to get started with it and actually start pushing these dates and start publishing this information, getting it out to the community, getting some nominations in. You know, from our conversation last week, we were saying we'll give it till Thursday because Sunday was too soon. And so we need to be able to push this form out in front of people, like ideally tomorrow, because I believe next Thursday was the limitation for it, like the absolute deadline where it's gone past and we kind of screwed ourselves from lack of decision from one party or another. It doesn't matter who, but either way. So we're at that point now. It's just got to be done. So let's just do it.
Right. I'm satisfied with what we have. I'm agreeing with
me
you,
too.
Reese. Let's just do it.
I agree with that. Then this means that this document still needs a little major tweak. For example, add more nomination criteria. Because I think what was also thought that next Wednesday we usually normally have the after-town panel discussion, no? What was the main idea of hosting the after town hall next week?
It was to basically just say that this is going on and to encourage people to come in and to explain what's going on, like just kind of report back to everyone and have a conversation with the community and hopefully bring people in, right? Get people to nominate themselves for the circle. If I remember correctly, I might have been wrong.
No, I think it was more of a panel discussion. Yeah, panel discussion, which I still don't quite understand if that was a panel for current circle or a prior circle. But if I may just push us all a little bit or ask, let's get this out today. Let's move forward here. Let's get people.
I don't I don't think we can, you know, we need an input output, you know.
I don't think we do. I think they're expecting us to do this and figure this out for ourselves. I really do.
I think we've been
they're
waiting
asking.
for a long time for confirmation from IOG. You know, we've been having a discussion about sorting out those parameters for 2 months at this point, maybe
Yes,
even a
they're
bit
waiting
longer.
they're waiting on a formal request or a document from us. I mean, if we look at it and say that it is a parameter change, then they want to see the documentation in a formal type manner to approve of it. But I think we're confident enough to say that they have sort of agreed to the 3,000 times 5 times 6.
Yeah, and in the last call with Chris, he said that this reporting would be sufficient because
Right.
it's some templated kind of direct form of reporting. It encompasses lots of scope for work that would mean people are operating and working as circle reps for the community. So we didn't have a formal agreement from him, but he said that this is enough for him to go to IOG and get a thumbs up. Like he's not
Okay.
here this week, so we can't ask him about it directly, but
Okay, and for me, that's a problem, right? You know, we're gonna, you know, like we as individuals, you know, and even though we are individuals working on this circle stuff, we cannot just put this stuff out, right? This stuff needs to go out in sync so that everybody feels like this is clear, right? If it's just us 4 or 5 guys, 6 guys, I don't even know how many are we. Yeah, you know, we you know, if that's not coming out on the input output Telegram channels, and it's not coming out on the CF pages, you know, if it's not coming out in sync all together, then it doesn't look valid. That's my main problem with us just leaving this meeting and throwing these documents out on the interwebs, you know. We have to be.
I agree with that. But we need to get a thumbs up from Chris, and you know, he said he's been taking it back to them to talk about it. So we just need to get a clear, concise answer of him. And so maybe today is a little bit boisterous, but like, I mean, we're just looking for a thumbs up or a thumbs down of him. And if it's a thumbs down, well, then we do have a problem, because who's going to want to come and work for free? And
Right. And if it is a problem, it's his problem. It's not our problem.
Yeah, absolutely. But so tomorrow, I think, is reasonable. You know, if we can get an answer of him this evening or tomorrow. I say this evening because he's in the UK as well.
Right.
A direct answer of him, then we've got something to work with, and then we just need to get hold of everyone, like Danny and the rest of everyone else who's involved, to just put out these notifications and get the ball rolling.
Danny is on vacation.
Danny's on vacation. This is what I mean, you know, like we're our regular working partners, we don't have available to us right now. My understanding of Chris is that it's a little bit lighter of a day, you know, so my hope is we do what we do in Slack and ping him, you know, early in the day, your time, Reese, he can affirm or not affirm. And
sure, well, let's do that. Then we can't help Dan. Yeah, I mean, he probably deserves a holiday, doesn't he? He don't stop working either. But there must be a way for us to put. The reason we needed him was for us to put the announcements out on the Catalyst channels. So if we have a way to do that, then that's a non-issue.
Right.
If we don't, then someone's going to upset Dan. Poor guy.
I don't think we'll upset Daniel.
I just meant interrupting his holiday.
Yeah, let's not interrupt him, and let's let Chris do what we think. I feel like if those of us that are here can create a short video and put that out, then that's sufficient enough to make it a formal, or, you know, and we all have a shared statement, a shared message, and we can push that today and get it going. And as long as we agree in the most basic.
I'm really having a bad hair day and I don't want to be in a video.
We can wait for you to fix your hair.
Mm.
Yeah.
I call it windswept and interesting, Steve. You just got to lean into it, mate. It's okay. It's not a bad hair day. It's windswept and interesting.
And at the end of this meeting, if I could just use Zoom, and all of us here just say, hey, Catalyst Circle nominations are open. We're still in discussions with everybody. And then we can share that. Like, I think that's, like we do at the town halls where everybody reads the whole slide. Instead of that, let's, those of us here say, hi, Cardano Project Catalyst, on behalf of the circle, it's nomination season or something along those lines. Let's not find excuses or blockers unless they're absolute. I don't think they're absolute. I think we have enough to go forward.
Okay, cool. So I think we're all in agreement that it's crunch time. I do have to shoot straight after this meeting, so I can't do a call straight after, but I'm happy to jump in or do a separate one that we can stick on the end or whatever. Quasar, that's not an issue. I can do it when I get back from my classes. What's next? What's next on the agenda? Review of the after town hall I got.
What time are you leaving? Right at 1:30?
I've got to leave at 1:30. Well, just as
1:30?
soon as we finish, I literally chuck some socks and shoes on, do my teeth, and then I'm off because my class starts at 1:45.
You put socks and shoes on your teeth. That's crazy.
Listen, they've got to go somewhere and they ain't going on my feet.
Felix, I mean, it looks like we've gone through everything on the agenda except the review of yesterday.
Well, hold up. I don't want to go to that review quite yet because the nominee statements or the forms, like, I think that's really about it. There's the Google Doc, the form that Joy has there. Actually, do we have a list of those questions? I didn't see it dropped in the chat. And aside from that document, if it's possible to get a list of those questions, we can create something that will work for us. There's also a link to a Catalyst participation form that just needs a little bit of editing, and it's ready to go. And it copies the Gimbal Labs Playground setup form, which is something that most people are familiar with, or there could be people familiar with it. I think that's about all we need for the nominee form. And with that being said, if we could do that through using Loom or something, we could record this little statement quickly, Reese.
Yeah, I agree. So just what you were saying, right? What you were pointing out is not having the form, right? So all that was on that form was basic, but it didn't have a statement, so we needed a statement kind of put in. Then we had name, idea scale account, Twitter handle, Discord, whatever, or Telegram, whatever your an email, whatever you're willing to share, I guess, out of as many as possible. And that was it. It was basically just identifiable information. And having thought about it, maybe it initially you only asked for identifiable information, and then your statement was supplied on the back end when you were contacted. I can't remember exactly the process I went through now. Maybe Joey can remember. But maybe the statement wasn't on the initial form, but it was requested as part of the follow-up.
That's correct.
Okay, so then it might not need to be added to the form. Maybe we just give us your name and tell us you want to be a part of it, exactly like what was on that previous form that Felix had a link to. And in which case we just need to set one up on an account that one of us has access to so that we can get the ball rolling.
100%. 100%.
Just for, I think that statement is quite important anyway to include it, because it for the ballot on the Triptros platform to vote in.
Yeah, we've got a month for people to write
Okay.
the statement. Or at least two to 3 weeks.
Our option would be as well. I think this was also in Circle version 3, not in the second, but in the third one, that people also have been able to send a video. For example, if they were not able to, no, it was in the second, but not in the third, other way around. That people could send a video to promote, nominate, explain a little bit more about themselves. Do we want to accept stuff like this?
100%.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that there's also no reason they can't link to it in their statement too, right? And if people are willing to do something like that, I think it will go a long way into getting them voted in as well, personally.
So adding statement and encouraging, inviting people to send nomination content, whatnot.
Yeah, I agree. And the truth is, the form is like putting the form together is probably 10-15 minutes. That's not really a stopping point for us. We just need to have the link to either share or well, yeah, to share. Exactly. Okay, so Joey, I don't know if you can talk about now, but you just shared, like, that's the email that we received, right? So you've nominated yourself, or someone had nominated you, and then you get that confirmed that you actually want to be a part of this email from Circle admin, and then you fill out your statement through the form. So it's like essentially round 2, right? Or part 2 of submission. Sorry, not round 2. So should we do it that way round then? I think that's better, because I think it is better for people to have time to actually think about the statement. Because if people are going to nominate themselves, I imagine just how I would do it is I'd go, oh yeah, I'm up for that. Click on the link, start filling out the form, and then you want like a big statement or a video of me, like when I'm doing it on my phone. I'm usually doing stuff on the run. It's not going to be easy for me to do that, right? But I would want to. So I think doing it through this kind of 2-part process would be better for everyone who's nominated themselves or who's been surprise nominated, right? Because you can't fill the statement out for someone else. So in that case,
you can.
You got and a video.
And a video.
Put your glasses and fake nose on with a mustache. So yeah, let's do that, right? Let's just have a super simple form initially, exactly like what Felix had linked before, and just with identifiable places to get hold of you, and then we're good to go. All we need to do is send a follow-up email on the back end, which we already have a template for.
Yes, and we have a template almost ready in the GitHub as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So now let's okay, so you have to leave in 12 minutes roughly.
No, 25 minutes. 25 minutes.
25 minutes.
Yeah. I've got time.
Okay, then
Steve, do your hair.
yeah, Steve, do your hair. Let's think about this document, the form, and then let's record that little announcement so we can share it. We'll all share it from our social medias, in Discord and Telegram, and it's the same message from everybody. It's all of us. Does that work? Wonderful.
I mean, I'm all right to do it. I feel like everyone else has got quite quiet.
I'm sorry. This is my own emotional shit, and I'm just trying to be quiet. I'm trying to do the for agreement thing, right? You know, because all I really have to say is, please step up so that I can stop doing this. You know, that's about all the words I have.
We're not recording yet, Steve. Let's
Loving
not
the
move-
enthusiasm.
Yeah,
I know it's a hard sell. I don't want to use that. I've got other words, but not today.
Okay.
you know, there are people that want to step up and want to do this. The community wants to be more involved. They want to be engaged. They want to have the information, and everybody's looking for a way to improve Catalyst and try to get 4.5 billion ADA voting in the next election.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, that's, I mean, you know, and that's just emotionally, right? That's why I want it all to happen at the same time. That's why I want input output to be ready with this. That's why I don't want to do this today. And it's not because I think you guys are wrong. It's just, I would feel better if I knew that everything was in sync and it was clear that there was a reason to be enthusiastic. You know, that it was clear that all the parties involved in the circle were ready to go, you know, and it's not, right? You know, he's not here. It's not clear.
Yeah, I understand. Joey, what do you think? What are your thoughts on it?
I'm sorry, what was the question? Well, you mean we have to, was the question to wait on Chris for a response?
Basically, yeah,
we can
basically.
go ahead. I think we just need to make the assumption that Chris is going to come through and that we put out the request, we start the process. Like you were saying, we can send out the form to see if we can get some nominees. And we can always discuss with them later if it comes to pass that they're going to need to read all this stuff that we've put out there that says you've got to be able to do this, you're going to be voted on in 3 months, and they've got to have an opportunity at some point to say, yeah, I don't want to accept the nomination under these conditions, or yes, I work for free, or whatever, you know. So I think we just move forward. You know, I'm tired of waiting around, and I think it's time to move forward. And I understand coordinating with IOG, but hey, we've been coordinating with them, and they only have one part to play, and that's to fund it at this point. And we've already done all the other stuff, so I'm ready to go.
Cool, thanks. Felix, what about you?
Let's go.
All right, love it. All right.
It's just about the question for the requirements because we said we wanted to add additional. Wait, let me share my screen for a second. This one here, these are the ones I found. Are they correct? So minimum 6 months of experience with Project Catalyst and knowledge about its purpose, how it operates, key roles, and its activities. Idea scale account opening or other ways to provide evidence of experience. Active participant in the community, have voted on proposals in Catalyst, solid presence on Catalyst community Discord, ability to work with people and communicate professionally, both written and verbal modes of interaction. Well-connected and recognized community member, able to act and represent your community's needs, problems, ideas, and visions. Patient, experience in communication and coordination, and familiar with social media channels and co-working tools, Zoom, Telegram, Discord, etc. Flexible for meeting times to coordinate with people around the globe.
Yeah.
Fits?
That looks like exactly what I saw when I was doing my form.
Awesome.
You know,
okay.
Most of them like some of them are maybe nice to have, like solid presence in Catalyst community Discord, you know, like obviously that would be much better to have someone who's active community member in Discord specifically. But you know what? You mentioned Discord and everyone gets upset because they don't like Discord for some reason. So yeah, like, I mean, it's a minor thing, but I think otherwise the experience and of its purpose, understanding idea scale account as proof of participation. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get voted unless you're already well connected and recognized community member to some degree. I mean, I think they're all fair things to ask. The flexible for meeting times is actually a must-have, isn't it? Because you don't know where other people are going to be, and we need to be able to adapt to them. That is definitely a must-to-have. The nice-to-have, I mean,
Given the
yeah,
fact
I mean,
that maybe the people will be elected by the communities which they maintain already, they might be already adjusted to the. But yeah, let's keep it on the must-have.
yeah, just because you don't know who's coming in and you don't know who you're going to have to be coordinating with, right? Until everyone's been voted in, and then it's too late. Yeah, you kind of have to deal with it.
Yep.
Cool.
Then the only thing then we need to push this document out as the official announcement and all then is the nomination form.
Awesome. And the nomination form is just personal information, idea scale account, name, email. Perfect. And
then,
that's the right way to do it. I think, having thought about it and seen what the hoops we had to jump through as part of our submission, I think that is the right way to do it as well.
Find nomination form, define and send out.
I agree, because you know what, even when they become nominated, there's still time for us to collect information from Chris and all that. And there's time for people to say, I either want to continue with it or not continue.
Yeah,
We just
agreed.
need some names. We need people. We need people to step up. And it's interesting, in that meeting, that after town hall meeting, it didn't look like we had anyone volunteering to be a CCv4 candidate.
I think we did.
I think there were people looking at it.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for, Joey. We might end up having to do another 3 months.
No, I'm in. I'm in
No,
for
no,
3
no,
years.
no, 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 no. So then points which we have to define the platform for the nominations done, on which sheet we gather the stuff. Usually when you have a form, let me just set one up, for example. Usually when you create a form, in the settings, you can say responses there. Voilà. You can say, okay, if you want to set up our own automated sheet where all the responses directly go to, or you can set up whatever a sheet and link it here then as well. So can be the creator of the form who holds the sheet as well, or can be another sheet, can be a sheet with sheets as well, or whatnot.
So are we going to host that ourselves, or is CC admin going to be doing that?
I think intention was going to that we host ourselves, no?
Okay.
Yes,
I don't mind either way. It doesn't matter to me, you know. It's just if CC admin was doing it, then we'd have to get hold of them to get that done. That was all. So it's just another thing that might slow us down by a day.
Okay, so in 10 minutes, we're looking at doing the video announcement. Is that right?
Yeah, I can stick my camera on. Guys, are you all in a position to have your camera on?
Nope, not today.
Okay.
Well,
Steve,
we
how's
can
your hair
edit
looking,
the
mate?
record of the screen, so we'll be good there.
Oh, okay. Okay, don't matter then. All right, so let's figure out this. Is everyone all right with doing this video right now? I am.
So what is it exactly about?
Well, I thought it was just announcing that we're going to be opening up the nomination form.
So then maybe let's do this like this. I stop record. Click again on record. So we get the videos as separate files and you don't
Yeah.
have to cut it out.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
stopping this one here.